Right, now that you've had the really deep techie stuff, we'll do something light and just show you the dashboard, starting off with a little video of a school that uses the Medhurst dashboard. Before we hit play, how many of you haven't seen the Medhurst dashboard before? Brilliant, okay, there's a few of you. How many of you got the Medhurst dashboard? Okay, brilliant. So if you haven't got it and you're interested in it, come and have a word with us afterwards at lunchtime, or have a word with someone else, because quite a few people here have already got it and are using it, I hope, and quite successfully. But first of all, let's have a look at a little presentation video that we did on the dashboard. Every day, schools, colleges and universities face the same challenges of integrating technology into everyday life in a way that allows staff and students to easily and effectively access what they need when they need it.
At Queen's School we were looking for a new remote access system, and we just wanted something that was easy for staff to use, reliable and also gave great value.
The Medhurst dashboard is a secure solution enabling schools to deliver their software applications to all students and staff on any device, whether on or off-site, giving your schools secure access to applications anytime and anywhere.
One of the reasons why we really wanted Dashboard is that we had a real problem with children going away and doing work at home and then teachers not being able to monitor it, not being able to check the progress of it.
Before the dashboard I just use a pen drive to open up files from home.
I just use my email, but that always used to crash.
I'm doing coursework right now, so my teacher can look at it, he can help me with it, he can tell me what I need to improve, and I don't have to directly go to him in school. He can just tell me there, I can look at it at home, and it's just much easier to do.
Once the dashboard is set up on your school network, access is simple and easy, with no installation needed on users' desktops or devices. Users just log on to the dashboard through either a desktop icon or web browser such as Chrome, IE 10 or 11, Firefox or Safari.
You just sign in with your Queen's login, and then you're on the shared area and you can access your own stuff and the resources in Home Wardrobe.
They can save their own files in there, or they can work on their own files out of that, or they can access files that teachers are putting there for them.
I use a dashboard to catch up with resources if I've missed a lesson or I don't understand it. Then at home I can go on it. I use Word and Publisher and PowerPoint that I don't have on my home computer, and I can quickly access it, and it's convenient for me.
One of the really great things about the remote dashboard is that it can be used on a multitude of devices. Some students will have iPads and other devices, so for them, not just being restricted to Windows is a real advantage.
Students are able to log in to school resources at any time, meaning they can stay up to date with projects, collaborative work, and even work on snow days. Staff are able to complete reports, plan lessons, and feedback on students' work wherever and whenever they want.
Children miss lessons all the time because of sports trips or illnesses or things like that. And Dashboard's really useful for me being able to drop them stuff somewhere remotely where they can pick it up again. So they always have access to things that will help them with their learning or things that will help them with the next piece of work that they're doing.
The dashboard even makes it possible to allow printing of school documents to your home printer without any installation of drivers or software. Everything is simple and secure.
Security for us is also really important, and the connection with the dashboard to the end user is highly encrypted, so things like SIMs that have got really confidential information on can be seen only by the people that need to see it.
If you would like a demonstration or free trial, or just find out more about the Medhurst dashboard, please get in touch with us. Okay, so we just wanted to pick up on a couple of points that were in there. We've got our dashboard that we use for demonstration purposes then, which is stored up in our data center. So, a bit like you saw on the video, the dashboard this one is actually running in a web browser. So, as I said in that piece, you can run it on any HTML5 compliant web browser. So it doesn't matter what the device is, so we're device agnostic if you like. And the applications that you get, that the user gets, are presented to them when they log into the dashboard. Okay, so you've got a few different applications there. This is logged in as the administrator. So you've got the name on the top right-hand side there. Admin, slightly different to a standard user in that you can administer the applications that people can use on the dashboard, and also you can do a little bit of reporting and stuff on there as well. So this is a teacher that's got access. Notice you've got things like Sims in there, and full matrix and stuff like that. And then we've got a student. Logging in as a student, logging in with your school username and password, so you don't need anything different than you would if you were in school. You log in with those credentials, and you've got a slightly different set of applications. So the applications you get are defined by what groups you're in AD in the school. Okay? So you can see they don't have access to Sims, for example, but they do have access to a few other applications that perhaps the staff wouldn't need access to or want access to. And yes, you've got things like Office there, and as was mentioned this morning, you can have Office, you can give Office to your students because you've got your schools agreement or whatever, and they can have that and install it on their devices at home, up to 5. But when you're using it in school, you've then got, nicely, you've got all of your applications, all of your files within that application that you've accessed before. And you've got all your map network drives as well. So we've got a home network drive there, for example, and the user's own directories. So they can access those files very, very easily. They don't need to take the files in and out. No more USB sticks needed. Okay, they can access them from anywhere. One of the things that I wanted to just show you on here in the network share that was actually mentioned on the video was a homework drop. Okay, this is where you can start thinking, okay, yeah, I can give people access to these applications, and I can give them their files and stuff. But if you start then thinking a little bit outside the box, using things like access-based enumeration, how many of you come across or use access-based enumeration? 1, 2, okay, 2, possibly 3. Yeah, come and talk to us about that if you've never heard of it or if you've not used it before. This is brilliant. It gives you the ability to give students access to folders that only they can see because they are in those security groups, for example. So that Year 7 student only saw the Year 7 folder in there. There's other folders in there as well. So the staff can see Year 7, Year 8, Year 9, Year 10. You can even do this for staff. They can only see their own groups that they teach in, the subject that they're teaching. So you can have a huge structure there, and you can cut out people seeing things that they don't need to see, or they don't want them to see. So the head could have their own area, or the finance team, etc. So, yeah, the dashboard gives you access to all of your applications, but as I said, think a little bit outside the box as to how you can then take advantage of this on, as we said before, on any device that you've got that people may have at home of their own, not necessarily ones that you give them. The dashboard itself, very clean interface. We can customize this for you. Some of you I know have already done this. You don't necessarily use this interface to get in there. You can customize it yourself. We've put a download button on here so that you can download the RDP file that you can use. You can do it through a web browser, yes. But if, for example, on an iPad, you've got the Microsoft RD client, then you click on that button and it will download the RD file onto your device. And you can say, yes, I want to run this in the Microsoft RD client. And then you'll have a straight RD connection through, so you won't be in a web browser. So yes, you could be using Word and Excel and Publisher, or even Sims, through an iPad or a Mac or an Android device. I don't run this on my Android device that I've got. But you can use it in any device if it's got the RD client on it. Okay. I don't want to take up any more of your time than that, just to show you. But if you want to come and talk to Scott or myself about this over lunch or at the end of the day, then please feel free to do so. Anybody have any questions at this stage, though, before we break?
Any of you got questions about Dave's stuff? Feel free. I know he's starting somewhere. But,
He's going to get some food before we break. Okay.
Could you just clarify a really basic thing?
Sure.
This dashboard requires a remote desktop server running on something.
Yes, it's based on RDS. And the nice thing for you about this is that actually we do all the installation and we manage it, and any updates, etc., are included with the dashboard. This is something that we actually own. This is a product that Medhurst has got, so it's our product. Okay? So if you're interested in it, something that you're thinking of, might be useful for you, then come and have a word with us and we can talk about installation, etc. But yes, it runs based on RDS, but it's simplified for giving access to the users and easier management for giving people access to the applications that they need or that you want them to have.
The thing to stress, I don't know if my mic's on, but
Yes.
okay, really is that it's the zero touch element. So this is based inside a web browser. If a student goes home and needs to use Office on Dad's laptop, and Dad's got Office 2007 because it's his work laptop, then obviously the student can't go installing GeoGebra on it or can't install Office 2013 on Dad's laptop. Doesn't need to in this environment. Dashboard's one of the few technologies that you can just go to our web page and log into it. You know, you don't need to install anything. You don't need to install a Citrix receiver. You don't need to install a RDP client. All of that's taken care of because the dashboard sits as an interface between remote desktop services and HTML5 technology and allows you to then access the entire platform through a web browser. So you don't need to install anything as a point. So if you've got no administrative access over the device you're on, it doesn't matter, you can still get on. You're also not going to get mums and dads phoning you up saying ever since you installed that client on our PC at home, my computer doesn't turn on, things like that. So it's a zero touch. That's one of its unique points. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so Microsoft, as you mentioned, Microsoft have upped and down and changed the decision over the last few years about RDS cows with students. One day they could have it and then they changed their mind, they couldn't, and it's now all dealt with under your OVSES licensing. Obviously, Steve Bezic this morning talked about the Office licensing, which was a big issue at the time. So about 3 or 4 years ago, if the students wanted to use Office, you'd have to buy Office for all your students. Steve Bezic, the head of education at Microsoft this morning, has just stood up and told you all that that's now free for students across the board. So as long as you've got an Office 365 subscription or you've got the right SA agreement with Microsoft, then that's all dealt with. But we can talk you through that. We can explain to you what you need to have. So, but therefore, you can do your Office licensing and your RDS licensing through that. Any other questions? Yeah. So would this be on a mobile device then, or so? Yeah, I mean, if you want to manage the actual physical device itself, you can obviously things like, I'll say it quietly, iPads and things. You can obviously manage through your traditional MDM platform, Lightspeed technology here. They can talk to you about guided access and stuff. I'm hoping, yeah, and all that sort of stuff. So you can lock it down to a particular environment. This is what we're showing you here is inside a web browser. Okay, you can use things like DNS to limit the access, or use your guest wireless network to ensure you can only hit particular DNS requests if you don't want to browse enough around the rest of the world. Of course, you can still use the apps that exist on the mobile devices. So you still use the RDP app, and you can lock it down to an RDP app. That sort of branches into slightly on what else can you do to manage a mobile device full stop. And there's some cool technology, so these guys will be able to help you out with a lot of that in a second. But we can demo this. We've got a live connection, so if anybody wants to come up, we have half of the people in the room have either already seen it or already got it. So it's a case of, for those of you that haven't seen it, there's a quick taster. If you want to come and see a bit more about it, then come over and see us and we'll demo it and show you a bit more in depth.